What's up everybody? Good morning. In this video we're tackling an awesome viewer request. Some of the best videos I do are questions that you've asked me, and this one comes from Jen Klen, and she was asking about some great multitasking brushes and maybe a how-to video using them. And so I've thought about this quite a bit. There are some of these brushes that you really have seen me use a lot throughout my makeup routine. Others show up maybe from time to time, but all in all it's a total of only 5 drugstore brushes that I'm going to use to create this look. And I think this could be really useful for any makeup beginner who is trying to build just a manageable brush collection. You don't need an entire set of brushes that includes tons that you're not going to use. At the same time, with certain really small kits that you pick up, you might find that some of those just aren't the right fit for you, aren't the right type of brush that you need. So every brush that I'm going to mention here can definitely perform multiple functions, and they're all affordable. So let's just go ahead and do a full face of makeup with them, and I'll talk about them all as I go. So I've already moisturized and primed. The primer I use today, by the way, is the foundation primer from Laura Mercier. And the foundation I'm going to put on is something new to me right now, but I figure since the main focus here is the brushes, we can just kind of have fun with whatever makeup. It's the LA Colors Radiant Skin Nourishing Longwear Makeup, and I have it in medium beige. We've got a pump, which is nice. I'll go with that one full pump here and kind of smooth it out all over my skin. You might notice that the places I pay closest attention to are the places where I patch the most product are just really the parts of my skin that I hope receive the most coverage. So something to think about when you're just kind of slathering on your foundation. And then the brush that I'm going to be using in several ways is this InstaPop cheek brush from Real Techniques. But as you will see here, this is a really fabulous size for a foundation brush. The way it's cut, it's got like this flat sort of side to it, and I find it blends out foundations really nicely. Great for liquids or creams. It can even do kind of a circular motion buffing type of effect, but in addition to that, it's also really great for concealer blending. And also it can work well for its intended function, which is blush. Okay, so that foundation is looking like a pretty medium coverage, very natural finish foundation. I'm not seeing like a real sparkly, profound glow out of it, but just kind of a natural skin finish. And then I'm gonna put my Makeup Revolution concealer on. This is my C5 shade. And we're just gonna apply this here to the under eye. Ew, I just kind of forgot that I really only need a little bit of that. So I may have applied a bit more than necessary right there. But then I'm going to do kind of a dabbing motion with this brush, and the way it can spread concealer over a larger surface area is really fantastic. Like, look at that, and then you can really seamlessly blend it down like onto your cheek. And the way that angle is cut, you can see I can get right in there around the eye with just the tip of that brush because it's cut finely enough there. Boom, super easy application. I feel like with the patting motion that you use with a brush like this, you can really maintain the coverage that's coming out of your concealer. So I really like using that brush for both of those steps, but it could also be a very good brush if you want to bake. Look at the flatness of that brush. So if you really wanted to like pick up a great deal of powder and instead of baking with a sponge, bake with a brush and just go stamp, 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 you know, all over this zone, you could bake with it. But we're gonna let another brush come in and have some fun here. This is brush number 2. We've got the small tapered brush from e.l.f. This goes so far back in my videos, like years back. I'm picturing myself back in my other room, like in the other house, when I was singing the praises of this brush. This is so versatile. This is going to be great for under eye setting powder. This could also, you know, dab powder all over the face if you want to. And something I haven't used it for a lot lately, but it was one of the reasons I initially started using this brush, is highlighter. It's really actually a great size for that. Sometimes we lose sight of how good certain brushes can be in different respects because we just start acquiring so many different brushes that we feel like we have to have a certain one for every job, you know? I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder here, and I'm not really baking. I'm just going to set the under eye with a little bit of that. And I'm also just using this brush to set my T-zone as well, although I do have another brush coming up that's fine for full face powder also. But I kind of like to take the brush and sort of press the powder in. That way it feels like it's more so integrating into my look, actually setting something, as opposed to just being like this dusting of powder that's just going every which way across the skin. It's a very intentional application of powder because it's going exactly where you're meaning for it to go on your skin. This brush is going to return to do another task in a second, but my third and final face brush for this look is the e.l.f. Complexion brush. And again, another brush that you see me use all the time in my videos, and it's really great because of the size and shape. It's a full enough brush to where you feel like you're never getting a streaky application on your skin, but it's not so big that you're losing control. And something I've loved about this is how it's kind of pinched in right here at the top. So that creates a brush that's just a little bit flat, and that flatness can really help you contour, bronze with a brush like this. Also, because of being pinched like that, it can be great for just dabbing on some blush. It can be your setting powder. It can do just any powder in general. It's a great sort of catch-all brush. It can handle a lot of face tasks where powder is concerned. So I'm going to use this new bronzer I got from Makeup Geek. It's called Tawny Medium Skin Bronzer, and I think this might be my favorite bronzer ever. I love the tone so much on my skin. I can't get over it. It's so nice. It's really nicely pigmented, but it's not out of control. But I just feel like it looks so pretty and so natural on the skin. This brush can really cover large surface areas with ease, I think. So if you even need to use this on your body and you wanted to like do some shimmer down the arms or something like that, no sweat. Love doing just a soft bit of definition there on the cheekbone with this kind of brush. And we're not skimping on quality at all here with these brushes. I mean, this is a soft brush. I've used the heck out of it. It's still standing. Same with this one from e.l.f. and this one from Real Techniques. These three brushes for face really have you covered. Now for blush, I'm going to go to my new Milani blush trio in Floral Fantasy. This is the one that's a little bit peachy. And I have options here. If I want a little more targeted application of blush, perhaps a heavier application of a blush that might be kind of sheer, I could go for the InstaPop cheek brush that I used earlier. Or if I just want a really diffuse, light, soft cheek, I can go ahead and use the complexion brush, which is what I think I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to go for the center shade. There's a little bit of a satin finish on this color, but you know that if you already watched my video on New Milani. I was able to put that blush exactly where I wanted it to go, even with a brush this size, because again, it's pinched. Now for highlighter, another new to me thing from Makeup Geek. I love our little compacts here. They're so pretty and so beautifully stamped with that design in there, but this is the Starlight highlighter. And I'm gonna use the small tapered brush, which it's cut to such a point, if you only wanted to pick up highlighter on the very tip of this brush, you would get such a pinpointed, focused application. I'm just gonna seek to pick up products sort of along that little angle there at the top. As you'll see, we'll be able to get that exactly where we want it. That is a really pretty highlight. And then you kind of buff over it, circular motions, just like I would when you see me use that Moda brush. It's really fascinating when you try to decomplicate your brush situation. You see how many brushes can do so many more things than you thought. And I can take a little bit of that. I can go around my Cupid's bow. Oh! Gonna give myself a little mist of some setting spray. I'm using my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water in Centering Citrus today. This scent makes me think of a hotel room bathroom. Smells like hotel product that they're giving you. So entire face was only 3 brushes, our Real Techniques InstaPop cheek brush, the e.l.f. small tapered brush, and also the e.l.f. complexion brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows, and then we'll continue with a 2-brush eye look. Brows are done. I used the usual suspects, the e.l.f. $2 brow pencil. It's called Instant Lift in Deep Brown, and then not this thing. What did I just pull out there? This thing, the Brow Stylist Boost and Set from L'Oreal in the dark brunette, I believe. Yeah, dark brunette shade. Love that. And I put on some Milani eyeshadow primer, and now we're going to do a little playing around with the Shayla and ColourPop Perception palette. I'm excited. I feel like I got a little rainbow here. And the 2 brushes that we're using are actually just a duo you can buy from Real Techniques, and they're called the InstaPop eye brushes. One is the InstaPop crease brush, which you've seen me use a lot. And I was back and forth on what to choose as another eye brush or two for this look, and I realized that I could really actually do a lot with this InstaPop shade brush. And again, every brush in this InstaPop line, including that cheek brush, like this is the easiest way to see what the shape of these is. It's this, you know, there's a big like flat space here and then it tapers up pretty steeply. That's what we're working with on both of these brushes as well. One is smaller, one is a little bit larger and more full, and I think that shape makes for a really, really versatile brush. So I'm going to start with the larger of the two, and I'm going to go into just a general crease shade, because even though I'm using fewer brushes than I might normally reach for, I don't want to really change up my style or my look that much. Like, I want to prove to you that you can still achieve every step of a typical eye look that I might do. So I'm going to go into this color called Culture right here. I think that's a good starting point. Dab the brush in, and then we're going to wedge this so that the most pointed part is going right into the crease. And what you'll find here is that this is a great application of crease color, because the pointed part is getting it right in the depth of the crease, and then you're able to just kind of fan it out and work outward, just ever so gently pulling out. It's so easy. And it's great because this shade is borderline kind of light for the crease, this color right here, you know? So this brush is giving me a really concentrated application, and I just think that's great. It's very easy to use, it's super soft, and I can wedge it even right down here. Gosh, I should be working with this brush more often. Again, we're turning it so that pointed part is going shunk right in the crease. And then you'll find yourself kind of doing a combination of dabbing and pulling up with the color. And look at that. And then you're saying, okay, that's fine for application, but how do I blend? You can just kind of do a windshield wiper type movement actually with this brush, and that'll function to blend out your edge. And so we're getting a nice little diffused, super soft crease here with one brush that's oddly shaped like this. And then I want to dab on some highlights. So I'm going to use Unbothered. I'm going to dab into that. This will place your highlight exactly where you want it to be. If you're one who kind of likes to carve out your eyebrow a little bit more, this is nice because you can take advantage of that edge if you wanted to. But I'm just going to dab a little right there under the high point of my brow, the arch. So this brush has managed to do crease, soft blending, and highlighting. Now the smaller of the two is just an absolute dynamo, because this is going to be great for controlled application and actually packing shadow on the lid. We can get outer corner with this, and we can also do the best smoky, kind of buffed out lower lash line. So I'm feeling like taking a little bit of this Unbothered shade again, now with my smaller brush, and I'm going to build this up a little bit right here in my inner corner like that, going around the tear duct just by patting it there, and then just pulling up onto like that inner third of the eyelid. Then I feel like using some of this green right here. This is IE. Get a little bit of that on there. It's kind of an interesting mix of like spring green and olive. Definitely some fun color choices were made with this palette. But this brush is fantastic for packing on that shadow. The density of it, it's really great, and it's just built to do kind of a packing on type thing. And I'm also kind of turning that brush around a little bit and getting some of that green all the way to the crease. And then I feel like I need something kind of deep and rich there in the outer corner, so I'm gonna use, shade. We're dabbing shade right here on the outer corner, and how perfect is this size of brush. It's so not too much brush, but it's just right. You can flip it around like I did before and really wedge that tapered up part right there in the outer corner. The old dab and wedge, just dab it on the outer corner. Build up as much as you want, flip the brush, wedging it in your crease, pulling that color around. Kind of cleaning off this other large brush that we used, and you can use that, all the fullness of this brush, you can use that to kind of go over your edge and soften up everything that you've applied there. Just keep it on the outside, little back forth motion, boom, we're blended. Now I'm going to take some liquid liner, and this is my Makeup Revolution Flick eyeliner. It's just a felt tip pen that I find wears a really long time. I'm just going to take this across the lash line. Then I want to brighten my lower inner rim because I feel like I need it this morning. I need that added wakefulness. This is the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight. Here's a multitasking product because this, you know, is meant to be a underbrow highlight, but I always put it in the lower inner rim. Now, one of the things that I have for a long time talked about and used this brush for is a nice, soft lower lash line using this tip part of the brush. So you really want to think about that when you're dabbing it into product. If you know, okay, I'm going to put this on the lower lash line, don't load up the entire flat side of the brush because that's not really necessary. Just dab the tip of the brush into whatever shade you want to use and go from there. So like I'm going to go in with shade first. I've only got color right there on the tip. And then I'm going to just softly apply this under the wing and to the outer part of the lower lash line. And then I say we pull in a little more of this green on this brush, and we carry that green throughout the rest of the lash line inward. It's kind of a murky green. It ends up on the eyes looking a bit more like a true olive than I thought. Here I'm thinking, is it kind of a spring green? Is it an olive green? I think once it blends with any little bit deeper shade, it comes off a lot more olive, but it's pretty and I love that kind of green. I love kind of a neutral murky green. But you see how this brush is able to so softly and yet so effectively give us color, just the right amount and like width of color here on the lower lash line. And then maybe we're kind of reevaluating the look and we're saying, hey, I actually want even more green on my lid. So this brush, again, it's small enough, it can pick that up, it can place the color, again, exactly where you want it, kind of there on the center of the lid zone. It is such a brilliantly designed brush. If you want a brush that is so worth the money because it can perform so many functions for you, this is it. So now I'm going to take care of my lashes. I'm going to curl them, put on some mascara, may or may not put on some falsies, and then we'll pick out a lip product just for the fun of it because that doesn't really require a brush, and then we'll be done. Here's the eye look. I ended up putting on my Cocoa lashes in Risque. I really love that style for fullness, and it's kind of fun, like, because a lot of the fullness of the lash is right in the center, so it really opens the eye up. But on my lips, I'm going to try out one of these Becca Glow glosses in the shade called Foxglove. It looks like kind of a soft berry. I feel like this is something I probably said a long time ago on my channel, but I love kind of the combo of a berry lip and an olivey eye. And these smell just like that Orbit Sweet Mint Gum. There are quite a few products I feel like that kind of go that direction. And there we go, everyone. I'm so happy with the finished look. I mean, full face, 5 multitasking drugstore brushes, highly accessible, highly affordable. Maybe you saw me use one brush and you're thinking, oh, I need something like that to plug into my routine. Maybe you're gonna totally start from scratch and get all these, or perhaps this video just prompts you to like look to your own collection and say, do I have anything that could possibly do more than one task? And if I'm traveling, I don't have to take as much because I'm realizing that one brush could do multiple tricks for me. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Jen, for asking this question and getting my mind rolling on ideas. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.